Hi everyone, Miss Cramer here. Welcome to Cramer's Corner. This is only my second video ever. And this time you're actually getting to see me because I actually got up and did my hair today. Really good. So, first of all, I want to tell you guys I miss you so much. And I know things are strange right now. But know that you're in my heart and I love you very much and I think about you guys all the time. And I was struggling and having a really hard time with all this that's going on because I miss your faces and your hugs and your smiles. But no, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be mad. Let yourself be that and get through those kinds of emotions. But then what you need to do is focus on this. This is what's next. Okay, we're gonna make sure that we have this, and we know we're gonna get out of this. Back in 1918, there was something that happened similar to this. It was called the Spanish flu, and the government shut everything down like they did have been doing now, and they didn't let people go out of their houses and do all that stuff that we're not able to do now. So just know it's happened before, and the world has recovered, and we are going to also, and we'll get to see each other again real soon. Obviously not this school year, but it's only a few months away before we get to see each other again. So I have been in contact with some of your teachers, and I'm going to try and do Zoom meetings if I can with you guys because I miss your faces. But just know that it's going to be okay. Now, there are a couple things I'd like to tell you as, Miss Cramer kind of does this little thing with you guys where I say, now look, okay, so listen, you need to still keep a regular schedule. So you still need to be getting up at a good time and going to bed at a good time. You need to be eating your breakfast, lunch, and dinner on schedule whenever your parents tell you to, and make sure you're still taking your baths and your showers. That's important, even though I know you're probably not going out of the house. And be kind to your parents. They're trying to help you get through this just like they're trying to get through it. So make sure you're still doing what you need to do and being those amazing leaders that I know you are, that we see at school every day. So if you guys can do that, that'll help your parents and it'll make my heart really happy. Without further ado, I'm going to tell you what we're going to be working on. There's some, I guess, preparation you need to do. And this is probably more for the older kids, maybe 2nd grade through 6th grade. Little ones, if you want to try this, you're welcome to. But we're actually going to be, I'm going to teach you guys how to do some shading, like 3-dimensional shapes. So I need you to be ready for that. We're going to do that next week. So we're actually going to make our own blending stumps, our blending sticks. So my older kids know what these are. It looks like a pencil, and we're actually going to use the end of it, and it's going to help us with our drawing, and we're going to do some shading. So I need you to make some of these, and there will be different sizes. So I'm going to show you a video link to a YouTube video that I found that was really good. And she'll teach you how to make 3 different blending stumps like this. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about the preparation of it first, just in case, because some of the stuff that she says might not work for what we normally do, or maybe things that you have at your house. So I'm just going to give you a couple little additional tips as to what she says in the video. Okay, she does have a little bit of an accent. Not sure where she's from, but it's kind of a cool accent. So to listen to her, it's kind of neat. And she does a really nice job. And it's the safest way I've found. There's lots of different ways to make blending stumps, but but some of them require a knife, and I don't want any of you using a knife. That's dangerous. So we're not going to do that. So we're doing it the safest way. Okay, so she says to use just copy paper. So if you guys have copy paper at home, this works great. If you don't have copy paper, because not everybody does, junk mail. If your mom or dad have a junk mail, this is just some junk mail that I got. It's paper. It doesn't matter if there's writing on it. It's paper. And it's already pre-folded for me, because you'll see that you're going to need to fold it. So it works out great. So if your parents have junk mail that you could use, please ask them before you take their mail, because you don't want to take something important. But ask them if they have a piece of junk mail. This was just a letter that came with one of my financial things. So any regular paper like that, even newspaper will work. Okay, so you don't need anything fancy, or even just regular lined paper. You have some of this paper laying around, this will work too. Okay, so it doesn't have to be the copy paper. And what you're going to need to do is follow the directions in the video that I'm going to link you guys. Well, I'll send the link, but I want to show you a couple little like tricks before you watch the video. So in the video, she tells you to, you're going to actually do half a piece of paper, and then you're going to rip the corner, and she just rips it. She doesn't even use scissors, and you don't need scissors. If you have scissors, you can use scissors. That's totally fine. But she just rips it, because she's trying to do it with the least amount of supplies necessary, and not everybody has scissors at home. But if you do happen to have some scissors, I'm going to show you a little trick that help you. So you're actually going to take the scissors and not open them, keep them closed, and you're going to take the paper, because what we have to do is roll this paper. And in order to roll it, it's kind of hard, because there's fibers in here, and the fibers are made to be nice and straight for paper. So what we're going to do is try and break those fibers a little bit and bend them. So if you take some scissors and you put the paper on top, and there's going to be a smaller section that you're going to start with. So when you watch the video, there's the big part, and then there's the rip part, and then there's the little part. We're going to start with the little part. So you're just going to take your scissors and put your thumb right on top of the scissors, right on top of the paper. And you're going to gently pull the paper through. So you just keep doing this, and you have to do it a few times. You keep doing it, but then see what happens? It starts to curl. So that's going to help us with our rolling. So I'm just going to do this a few times to kind of break the fibers in the paper to get it to curl. So once it starts curling, that's going to help me get this to go a little bit better. Now, I actually like to mess with this in the air. The lady on the video does it on a table, which is fine. But what I like to do is just kind of start bending this and rolling it back and forth, and starting to get it to kind of curl really super tight. You want it to get super tight. So if you use your fingers and your thumb, and you go just like this, you keep rolling back and forth. It takes a little while for it to do this. And you might need mom or dad or a big kid, sibling, or an adult to help you get this part started. But this part is the most important part, getting this super tight. So it's going to get super tight, super tight, super tight. You want it to be as tight as possible. So you're just going to kind of roll until you get this to be as tight as possible. Tight. So you get that nice tight roll. And you'll see there, you might have a little bit of a hole in the middle, and that's okay. But if you can do it so you don't have a hole in the middle, then that works out a little bit better. Okay? So that's kind of the start of it. And I like to do this in the air, but she'll tape it to the table, and that's fine too. That works just as well. It's just, for me, it's a little bit easier for me to manipulate the paper and get it where I want it in the air. But she'll tape hers to the table. So you can do it either way. So eventually what you're going to end up with is a super tight roll. Now at the end of the session, she actually, well, let me back up for a minute. So you're going to roll this, and she'll show you 3 different ways to roll it to make different sizes. And then you're going to need tape. So if you have this kind of tape, this is just simple Scotch tape. So if you have this kind of tape, this works great. Okay, this will work. She's going to use masking tape in the video. Okay, so you can use masking tape, or if you don't have either of those, this blue painter's tape works great too. That's actually what I used because my masking tape was really old and it wasn't sticky anymore. So I just used this tape. So that's where you're going to actually end up taping the end of the paper so it doesn't come unrolled on you. So that'll be the last thing. So you'll need paper and tape. She actually uses sandpaper at the end to sand the end of this. Now, you don't need to. It's only if you want a really fine tip. When I rolled this one, it's just perfect. I don't need to sand it, and I'm not going to. Now, if I'm making another one that I want to be a little bit smaller for tiny, tiny details, then I probably will sand it. So if you don't have sanding paper, this is sandpaper, just 100 grits perfect. Sandpaper, and then you would just actually do what she does in the video and sands it. Now, if you don't have sandpaper, last night about 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and said, what if they don't have sandpaper? And I'm like, oh, but I bet their mom has one of these. This is for doing your nails. So it's for filing your nails. So if your mom has one of these, or maybe your sister has one of these, any of these will work. This is sandpaper. It's just on a little stick. So it'll work perfectly for what you need. So, and this one actually has different kinds of sandpaper on it for different grits. So how strong the grit is. So if you have one of these, this will work just as well. Okay, so you don't need to go to the store and buy sandpaper, because I will bet you your mom probably has one of these laying around. Okay, and if she doesn't, it's okay. You don't need to sand it. Okay, so that's not a big deal. So I need you to make 1, 2, 3, 10, whatever you want, different sizes of these. And she talks about cutting off the end, and she's not able to because she didn't have her scissors with her. You don't need to cut off the end. This is nice because then it's the length of like a pencil. So this is what we call ergonomically correct. It actually fits in your hand. Is nice. Now, my big kids know that the ones we have at school are a little bit smaller, but this is great. So this is all you really need. So if you can do that, make some of those blending sticks for next week. Then I'm going to do a video and show you guys how to do some three-dimensional shapes. We're going to do a sphere, a cube, a cone, a cylinder, and do some, like this. One of my favorite things to teach is shading. Mrs. Boldye's class, I started them with shading, and my little ones, probably second and third, we use our finger as a blending stick. We don't even use these until we get into 4th grade. So we use our finger. But if you are a 2nd grader or 3rd grader and would like to try this, even 1st graders, okay, you can try. And I'm just going to show you next week, and I think you'd be amazed at what you can do with a simple circle and turning into a 3-dimensional shape. So we're going to do that next week. So I'm going to send the YouTube link to your teachers, so they have it with a little bit of information for them to send to you. But I'm going to put up the YouTube video. I'm not technology enough to be able to send that to you guys. So this is the YouTube address. So let me see if I can get it so you guys can see it. Pay attention. This is a Q. Sorry, I didn't do a very good job. And then pay attention to the capitals. Capital S, capital D, capital W, capital E. So make sure you get that all so it's correct, I believe. And you'll see a lady that, or hear her. She's going to be actually just kind of have her camera looking at her table. So this is the address you need. So I give you, you can probably freeze your frame and write that down too. So she does it so the camera's looking down like I did with my first video, and you'll just see her hands rolling on the table and when working, and that's pretty much how I'll do it next week too. So you probably won't see me next week unless I can figure out how to flip my iPad up so I can you can see my face. But other than that, if you can get ready for that stuff, and then we're going to do some shading next week. So you can also, well, I know my older kids, some of you are incredibly talented, so if you want to look up some shading stuff to get ready, I know a lot of you do that already, but make sure that when you do put in a Google search, that you put like for kids. So if I want to know how to do shading, make sure you always put for kids or for elementary students or something that's going to make it so it's more friendly for your age. Otherwise, you're going to get some of the stuff that the artists use online, and some of that's a little complicated and gets a little out there. So just put that in. And that's pretty much all I need you to do for this week. I know it doesn't sound like a whole lot, but once you start making your first couple, probably will not be good. It takes a while. I had to unroll this one 3 times before I could get it tight enough. And you'll see I still even have a little bit of a hole at the end, which is okay. It's not that big a deal. So, and that doesn't really affect anything. You'll feel it. It's like hard, like you can't bend it. So that's what you want, because when we're using this, we're going to use it like a pencil, but we're just going to use it to help our graphite and like shade out or spread out our graphite. So if you can do that, that would be awesome. And then next week I'll have a couple different ones of these made. I want some different sizes just because I like different sizes, but you don't really need to. But practicing this and doing this a couple times will make you better. Just like, when we draw, we always draw with pencil first, and we always draw, because that's what's going to make you a great artist. More practice, the better. So that's it for this week, and then I will get all that other stuff ready for us, and we'll go from there. So I miss you guys, and I hope all of you are doing well. Make sure you're being good leaders at home, making those good choices, and I love you guys. So I hope all of you have a good week until I talk to you or get to talk to you next week. All right? Heart.